Hey guys, this is Adam Carswell, and today I'm joined by Caroline Schaefer. Caroline is a health strategist. She was born and raised in Long Island, New York, to what she's telling me, a very hardcore Italian family, which is awesome. Went to Piedmont College, which is in Charlotte, North Carolina, and now currently lives in Georgia, right outside Atlanta. Caroline, thank you so much for coming on the show. Do you have any opening remarks for my listeners?
I just want to say thank you, Adam, for having me today. This is my very first podcast, and I'm so excited to be here.
We are honored to have you. It's shocking to me to find out that it's your first. And guys, Caroline and I have a pretty cool story on how we got connected. I don't think I've had anyone on the show like this before. I don't really even think there's anyone in my professional network where, this past year we've been living in this virtual world, and we both attended one of ClickFunnels conferences, which you're gonna actually have to help me remember what the name of it was.
It was one funnel away.
Was it one funnel away? Because we went to
the 3-day conference. It was a 3-day conference.
Yeah, it was 2 Comma Club Live.
Was it 2 Comma Club
Club
Live?
Live?
I have done
right.
so many of his programs.
And this is cool, and anyone who's familiar with Zoom meeting, you can relate now. There's a really cool feature within Zoom, and so many other platforms are doing it now, where you can do a breakout room. And when you do a breakout room, especially at 2 Comma Club Live, which when we were both there virtually attending this event with, I don't know, anywhere from 5,000 to 15,000 other live attendees. I can't remember what the number was. And so they just get you categorized down into these little groups of like 4 or 5. And Caroline and I were in at least one. They kind of have it in all these like little subgroups. So sometimes you would still end up being put in the same breakout group as someone else. But I know we crossed paths once, and we were both like, I remember out of a group of maybe like 7, we were like the action takers. We're like, what's everyone's email? What are you doing? How can we add value? Like, let's follow up. And we hit it off. And I was like, man, this lady knows exactly what she's doing. We got to stay connected. And then on top of that, we followed up after the conference, and she was like, hey, I moved forward with 2 Comma Club X, which is the inner circle, which is Russell Brunson's inner circle, who's the person who puts on the conference. And I'm in 2 Comma Club X as well, working with Hunter Thompson on a project that we might talk about here today. But it was just cool to know that someone else in our group was like heading on this same pathway to hitting 2 Comma Club, which is $1 million in revenue. And I'm not sure what your timeline is. I know for us, we're really looking forward to 2021. But that's like the backstory. That's how we met. And it's been fun messaging back and forth on Facebook, trying to finally schedule this interview, which we did. So Caroline, I know that was a lot, but please go ahead and fill in the blanks on anything.
No, that was perfect. That is so true. I immediately felt your energy. And I think we actually had 2 classrooms together, and that was kind of pretty random. But I definitely felt your vibe right from the get-go, and I was like, I need to stay connected with that guy. And that was really neat. And I'm glad, because I think when I first contacted you, you were not in the 2 Comma Club X program, and then you got in there. So it's nice to share this path with you.
Yeah, I remember you told me you joined, and then like a day later, I had a conversation with Hunter, and we were like, yeah, we're going to do it. So I was like, oh, I already know someone who's on the inside. This is what they said it's like. So yeah, that was a really cool story. And yeah, guys, we're going to get into, Caroline's focus here today. So I guess, without further ado, the topic of today's discussion is taking your vitality to the next level. So here we go. It is now time to step into the next level chamber. As I mentioned, the topic of today's discussion is taking your vitality to the next level. We love the phrase next level here on Dream Chasers, so couldn't be a better title, but also couldn't be a better guest to come on here and speak about it. There's been a lot of refinement that Caroline's gotten through her process, as we've mentioned now in the 2 Comma Club X, from a coaching perspective, and just things that she's working on. And it's exciting to see that she's helping other people in her network now take their vitality to the next level. And Caroline, before I hand the mic back over to you, I just want to say, guys, Caroline's someone who, when I first met her, and I even joked with her today on this call. Now, we haven't met face to face, we're internet friends or whatever, but it's pretty clear to see like this woman looks like she could probably be between the ages of like 36 and 42 and pull it off. I was like, Caroline, for the sake of the interview, is it okay if I say like how old you are? Because I think that's going to help everyone realize you know what you're talking about. She's like, yeah, I'm 54. So, so here we go, guys. Caroline's going to talk to us today about taking our vitality to the next level. I know it's kind of broad, but again, I just said a lot. So please feel free to kind of fill in any details that I might have missed there.
Absolutely. Thank you for the compliment. That will get you everywhere. But yeah, I do feel, especially this is a perfect time in history that people need to get their health in order, especially with COVID and everything. Um, and we're just, the statistics that are out there have never been more horrifying. Um, and it's like there's no, practice sessions, there's no rehearsals. It's like you get one life. And like I said, you can't do anything well unless you feel well. So going through COVID, watching everybody, and like I said too, my mom died of a brain tumor, a cancerous brain tumor. It took her life really fast, and I've had numerous bouts with medical things, back issues, and whatnot, and it just all of those experiences have pressed upon me how valuable your health is. And I just feel like there's such a need out there for people to get better direction. I think it's confusing and conflicting, and the information that most people are getting is backed by somebody, big pharma, or the food industry, and it's very confusing for most people. And I want to bring people back to step one, and work with their habits and go at a very slow pace, because people promise the moon to people with all sorts of diets and programs, and they all don't work. It's like a 2% success rate out there. It's so sad. And your body actually, because of the food scientists out there, it could take 5 years for your body to actually get into a whole new swing of things because of the memory built in. Like corn syrup is more addictive to your body than crack cocaine. How crazy is that? So it's really important that people feel like it's in their hands, and with a great return, to take their health to the next level, and put aside most of the things that they've been hearing. And YouTube is great for showing people what's possible out there. We were talking about people in their 80s and 90s doing amazing physical feats, and you can actually regenerate muscle growth through your 80s. And they're finding out all sorts of studies that they once didn't think your brain would grow anymore past a certain time, and parts of your brain do grow continuously. It's a matter of what you do, and it doesn't have to be hard. And that's what I'm all about, is to show people small, easy steps that are doable and sustainable, but that really work, and build on that, habit stacking, so that you start to feel good about yourself. And the more you feel good about yourself, the more you're going to want to do good things. So we start off really slow and with a good foundation. You get a solid balance for everything.
Yeah, and one thing you mentioned before we hit record was the placebo effect. And I think for me, even hearing some of the things you just stated that I wasn't aware of, it's kind of like the reference to the person who ran the first 4-minute mile. The mindset was always, no one could ever do it. And then once one person did it, then I wouldn't say everyone, but many people started doing the same thing. So it's reassuring to me to hear what you just said about like the brain continuing to grow and develop, generating muscle after the age of 80. I truly and honestly believe that just hearing and knowing that things like that are possible helps me, and hopefully others here now listening, like that shifts my mind. I'm like, okay, great. So when I'm 80, that's what I want. And like it starts by doing that, right? Like you have to have the mind.
Right. Right. And mindset it's my first of my 5 pillars, because it's key, and it's the thing you have to work on the most. There's something called transformational vocabulary that I'm a huge fan of. Tony Robbins does it. Marissa Peer does it. She has a whole campaign about I am enough. You put it on your mirror. But yeah, you have to think that you are worthy. And if you take the time to invest in yourself, it'll pay off in spades. But it is interesting, like most heart attacks happen on Monday morning, and that mindset of having to go into work, and that stress, that's so sad. And the placebo effect, like 30% or more of the pills that are prescribed out there are purely in your mind, whether they're working or not. So, they could do the sugar pill or no pill, even surgeries. I've read studies about surgeries where they did a knee surgery where they would put a needle in somebody's knee, and they really didn't do any surgery. And still 30% of them healed. It's so crazy. Your mind is so powerful. People have no concept of what they're capable of. Which, funny little side note, I actually had the biggest physical experience, probably bar none, out of everything I've gone through. I had twins, and I was in the hospital for 6 weeks in bed rest for months before that.
Wow.
And it was literally amazing how strong you can be if you have that mindset, because it was, I was in labor. For all you women out there, I was in labor having contractions for 6 weeks every hour. But most people can't say that. But I had two beautiful daughters who grew up completely healthy. So it was really challenging, but it is true. Like I think that a lot of times God gives you a path that just makes you stronger. And
Mhm.
sometimes it helps prove to yourself of what you're capable of. I have gone to UPW. That was, I call Tony Robbins the mind maid. He kind of cleans your brain out of all the cobwebs and the things that don't
I
belong
just
in
actually,
there.
before you go deeper, I just want to pause here to kind of emphasize just how valuable what you guys are about to hear. For those of you out there who know Tony Robbins, I think someone who deserves a lot of respect based on what he teaches, practices, the way he lives his life, the amount of people he's impacted. I've never been to one of his live events, and so the fact that you're about to share some of your biggest takeaways from seeing him live, that's, as close as getting to the event as possible. So I just want to preface before you say anything here, guys, listen up, because this is what Caroline learned at the footsteps of Tony Robbins in person. Tony Robbins in person.
Yeah, there was I think it was like 15 or 15,000 people there. It was unbelievable. The energy in the room alone is hard to describe. I know they do it virtually now, but it is such an amazing presence to be there with all those people on the same page trying to better themselves. It's a very cool atmosphere. And you go deep, like with strangers. And I was glad I went alone, because you end up partnering up with people that you totally don't know, that you completely dig deep down and wrench your soul to. It's a pretty interesting concept, but it works. It so worked. Like I said to people that I went there with my light switch shut off and I left with it on. I came away as a total different person, totally. In fact, I leave my badge to that event on my bedroom door. And I literally, when I turn the knob, it's a constant reminder, because I'm big into habits. Um, and I believe in visual cues, because we easily forget everything. So every time I turn my doorknob, I see that UPW thing, remind me of once what was and what is and what can be. It's just very important. But I learned about so many things, and mindset was definitely the biggest takeaway. It doesn't matter whatever you've experienced in the past, use it to build on. However terrible it was or how sad it was, use that as energy, as a strength factor to help your future. And it is amazing what I've heard people have gone through. I mean, it blows my mind what people can endure and still manage to conquer.
And talking about creating habits, I think that learning to create habits is a habit that you have to create in the first place. And it can be challenging. I know for myself, there's certain things, and from a self-discipline standpoint on a daily basis, where it's like, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, and then I don't do it, and then I feel bad or whatever. I mean, so I guess, what are just some very fundamental practical ways that anyone listening, I'm going to say even for myself, to get better at creating and setting habits, what's like a very simple way to start doing that?
Make them smaller than you think. Make the goal smaller. Take the initial goal and break it down. So, like, I know the first of the year is coming and everyone's going to make that dietary goal, right? So instead of saying I want to lose 20 pounds in 2021, say I want to lose, uh, you know, 5 pounds in 2 months, and then the tangible steps to get to that goal. I am going to get up at a half hour early every day at 5:30 and work out 30 minutes doing X on Monday, X, on Tuesday, and break everything down. And the biggest thing to habit changing is having a visual tractor. We are definitely visual people. I always joke and I'm like, my lists have lists. But we enjoy, you actually do release good hormones when you cross things off. And so it's really important to see some kind of positive stacking. So you could put, for water, one of the things that you could do is put rubber bands on a glass, and slide the rubber bands down up. So like have like 8 of them and slide them up. When you finish your 8 glasses, you know, look, there they all are. Or paper clips. I need to make 10 sales calls today. Have 2 little jars, take 1 paper clip, put it in the next jar after every call. When you see those 10 clips on the right side jar, you know you've accomplished your goal. And having those daisy chains on a calendar, Xing out on your, I just made my workout regimen for 2021. And I did it on a piece of cardstock for January, because I will be putting X's on every day that I accomplish it. It is very fulfilling to see a visual reminder that you have had an accomplishment. So that's so habits, make them smaller than you think, and make them detailed. Don't just have a broad general goal, but I'm going to do specific. I'm going to go to bed a half hour earlier. I am going to wear, blue light blocking glasses. I am, very, very specific for an hour before bed. Make them as specific as you can, and just work on like one small thing at a time. It takes like at least 21 to 30 days to break a habit and start a new one. Or it's better too to also stack your habits. So maybe you want to get in some extra activity. So like maybe when you're filling up your water bottle, you can do a couple of squats between or something. So something you normally do, just add to it instead of trying to do something totally on top of everything else. It's a little easier on your brain that way.
Yeah. What gets measured gets managed. I think that's
absolutely
for. And you're right. I don't know why it is. That's how we tend to learn and make progress, though. We got to see it. Completely agree. Yep. We're going to shift gears and start winding things down, but a few more things. One more like hack, tip, secret, practice, you name it. Something that's going to help our listeners increase that vitality that we're talking about today. I know probably one simple one is, drink as much water, like start drinking more water and less Coke, right? But like,
right.
There's some other, maybe we'll just stick to one vitality secret to get us to that 80-year-old generating muscle still.
Well, I could totally just take that a little further about the water. We'll go in a couple of things, but the biggest way that people consume water is not in a glass with their mouth. Do you know what it is? It is your skin, which is the biggest organ of your body. And so your shower is actually a huge thing in your life. And most people don't realize it, how the toxins that you're absorbing while your skin is warm and your pores are open. So get a filter on your shower. Wow. That is super, super important. So that's how you're getting most of your water. And bottled water is not your friend. There's no FDA regulations on bottled water. It sits stagnant and the plastic leaches into the water. So use a filter like Brita or something. But definitely drink water. It is important. This is also kind of funny that I've read that somebody made up that whole glass of water a day. There really is no basis for that. So, but it is important to flush your body. And you can know by your skin, the amount of trips to the restroom, things like that. And also eat your water. Sounds really weird, but try to include foods in your diet that are high water content, because A, they'll fill you up, and B, it's better for hydration. If you are thirsty, it's too late. Like you're already depleted your body from hydration. And not only that, but your brain, I can't remember this exact statistics, but it's something like if I can't remember the exact ounces if you don't drink water, but it's equivalent to actually drinking alcohol. Like your brain will malfunction to the point where you're like impaired. So people don't realize what hydration can do just in itself. So
wow.
Take a shower with a filter, drink good quality water, not out of a plastic bottle. Carry that bottle with you, and go from there. I think that's a good start. Just start with your water consumption.
I love it. And I haven't heard your New York accent come out a whole lot until we started talking about water.
Yes, as long as I don't say coffee, because people say coffee. That's usually the one that gets me.
Coffee, yeah.
Coffee. Very funny.
That's good. Okay, so if you had to give a shout out to one person out there who you've never given a public shout out to before, who would that one person be?
Um, I think I'm going to go with Tom Bilyeu.
Okay.
I do. One of the things I learned at UPW with Tony Robbins was if excellence or outstanding is a choice, why not pick that? And I think Tom Bilyeu definitely exudes that. He is amazing at everything he does. He's a great podcaster. His interviews, I think, are really worthwhile. And I just love his quest, his health impact. I love that he's really trying to help people with longevity because he wants to live to like forever. That's his major quest in life, to live like forever. I think he really is a quality driven guy, and I want to applaud that because I think a lot of people are in things for the wrong reasons, for like shares and all of that. And like Tom, I think it's about helping people. The rest comes as long as your main mission is to help people. And boy, the health industry out there is a crazy place, but people need solid, good information to get them on a better path. And I'm hoping I can help them do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. You led me right into it. It's we did the hook, we did the story. It's time for the offer now. What can our listeners do to follow up and get in touch with you and even work with you?
I am on Instagram at Caroline.Schaefer, and it's SCHAEFER. I have my website at fitframeworks.com. And the name of my podcast is going to be The Vitality Feed. We're almost there. And my Facebook, I'm at Caroline Schaefer.
There it is, guys. So I like fitframeworks.com. I'm impressed that you got that URL because that seems like
Thank you. It's all about the system. You know what I mean? It's the process. It's people don't plan a lot of times well enough. And I think you just follow a process and it makes life so much easier. It doesn't have to be hard. You just have to have a good foundation.
Love it. Love it. All right, Caroline. Well, thank you so much for investing your time with us here today on Dream Chasers. It's been awesome. I feel like I just got younger by having the conversation, so that's good. Any closing remarks?
No, I just want to say thank you again. It's been really fun, and I'm looking forward to maybe connecting with your listeners again.
Awesome. All right, guys. Yep. Go connect with Caroline. She's going to keep you young. Remember, at Dream Chasers, that's what we love here. Thank you for tuning in Dream Chasers, Interviews with the Future. We'll catch you in the next episode. Remember, in all you think, say, and do, take it to the next level, including your vitality.